Thank you, Sonu. Thank you, Frederick Memorial Hospital, for having me. I always try to get those out of the way before I forget. I don't like standing behind the podium. I'm not a podium lecture type of guy, so you're going to have to put up with me like this in front of you. So, ladies, I feel you. I feel you. You know, a lot of times when I come out and people are talking to me, people are looking at me, all of a sudden I see their eyes drop. So I'll give you 2 seconds. You can take a look at my beard for these 2 seconds. After that, I hope that you give me the eye contact I deserve. Okay? Okay, so I hope everyone got a good look. And now you're staring, and we can pay attention to the presentation for the rest of the time. All right? Sonu, who is actually a very good friend of mine, we're almost like twins, you know. He's a little taller, a little better looking. But you see what I did today? I wore white. You see that? I knew you would be wearing white. I think he only wears a white turban, you know. So I actually took one out of my closet today. So before I get started, I just want to say, I think somebody introduced, somebody said Sikhism. I say Sikhism, you know, tomato, tomato. The real pronunciation of it is Sikhism. But when I think the British were colonizing India, the term became prevalent as Sikh. And so when you hear me say Sikh, I'm talking about the same religion. It's not two religions, just trying to clarify that. So this is one thing me and Sonu do have in common. We're both Sikhs. And we're going to talk about what that is, where it comes from, like Sonu said, demystify it a little bit. Hopefully you learn something from it. Does anybody know anything about the Sikh religion? Just a show of hands so I know what I'm dealing with. Okay, perfect. So anything I say, if it's wrong, you guys won't know. This is perfect. I love, you guys are a perfect audience. Okay, so who are the Sikhs? First, I want to just clear some misconceptions that I come across. Normally, I do this at schools, high schools, elementary schools, middle schools, and we try to, clarify, okay, people think Sikhs are Muslim because they have a turban and a beard. And this became a problem for us post 9/11 because of the media and because of what the images were in the TV. A lot of people thought, oh, beard and turban means you're from Afghanistan, you're a Muslim. But Sikhism is actually a separate religion. It's not, part of Muslim. It's not, again, the turban and the beard is similar, but the turban and a beard for Afghan or Middle Eastern is mainly for cultural, and for us it's very religious. So it's a mandated requirement, and it's part of our article of faith, the turban. So that's the difference. So in the Middle East, you'll see more cultural, reasons for wearing it, whereas we have more religious reasons. So I want to clarify that. Another clarification, a lot of times I come across this question, is Sikhism an offshoot of Hinduism or a sect of Islam? No, it's actually a separate religion. So because we have our own scriptures, we have our own place of worship, we have, our own rules that we follow for the way we pray, it is actually a separate religion. So those are the two common things that, people who have heard about Sikhism have these misconceptions that it's again, there's some similarities, just as all religions have some similarities, because the truth is the truth, and they're all going to be very similar. So they have similarities, but it's a distinct religion. So now I'll get into where Sikhism came from. And Sikhism actually originated in the northern part of India in a place called Punjab. Again, you might hear that term called Punjab. So because I grew up here, I know both of the accents. So in India, we call it Punjab, but here they call it Punjab. And it's actually two separate words. So the first part of the word, Panj, means five, and the second part, Ab, means water. So it's the land of five waters or land of five rivers. So it's very descriptive in that sense. The first Sikhs actually came to the U.S. over 100 years ago, and mainly they came to the West Coast as laborers with all the other Indians who came here to build the railroads, to work at the lumber yard. So they have a long history here. In fact, a lot of the Sikhs in India were farmers, and when they came to the U.S., they also wanted to farm. But at that time, non-Caucasians were not allowed to own land or become citizens. So the Sikhs, one of the Sikhs, Bhagat Singh Tind is his name. He actually joined the American Army just so he could become a citizen, because that was one of the, so you, after you joined the army, you could become a citizen. Took him 10 years, he became a citizen, bought land, and started farming in California. So that's an interesting history that we have. We've affected some of the immigration reform here in California. In fact, the first Asian American representative who was elected to the Congress was a Sikh. So it's just interesting facts that we've been here a long time, but they're still probably our fault. Not a lot of awareness of who we are. Mainly the Sikh populations in the United States can be found on both of the coasts, the east and west coast. We like water, what can I say? We like beaches, probably why. But, you know, it's about, I would say the number is between 750 and 1 million Sikhs. I mean, we don't have an accurate count, but it's a significant amount. So, another thing about Sikhism is actually the 5th largest religion in the world in terms of followers or numbers of followers. And it's not well known. So the top one obviously is Christianity. Next we have Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism. People are familiar with most of those. And Sikhism comes in at number 5. And after Sikhism is Judaism. So just, you know, I like to point these facts out. You know, we know a lot about probably the top 6 except Sikhism. So again, I blame myself. I blame probably my community, my dad. I love to blame the older generation for stuff. You know, they didn't do a good job in coming out here like we do, making ourselves vulnerable and actually explaining who we are. So we're trying to correct that. You know, Sonu and I think our generation is trying to be out there, come out there and do this kind of stuff so that awareness is there. So that's an interesting thing. So what do we believe? And what you'll notice is, what I'm going to put up is not rocket science. We believe pretty much everything that everybody else believes. And what I can tell you personally, I come from India. I went back to India recently for about 2 months. I'm glad I'm back here. Because the core values of America are very much in line with what Sikhs believe. So when I put these things up, you're going to be like, hey, this is what we believe. And in fact, Sikhs probably feel more at home here than they do in India, because over here there's a different value system. The core value system is very much in line with our teachings. Another thing I wanted to mention when I listed the religions, which I forgot, Sikhism is actually the youngest religion out of all of those, because Sikhism is about 550 years old. So it's not it's not anything very old. It's very new, and so when you see these concepts, they're very progressive concepts that I'm going to put up. First thing we believe is there's one God, that, you know, there's one God for everybody. And I believe like we all have, you know, if we want to get to Cancun, we're all going to fly different airlines. You'll fly Delta, I'll fly United, somebody may fly Southwest. I don't know if Southwest goes to Cancun. But, okay, so if you fly Southwest, you might not make it to Cancun. But the people who are flying Delta and American, we're all going to make it there. So we believe all religions are going to get you to the same place. You can call it Cancun, Nirvana, heaven. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. It's the same truth. So there's only one God who's behind that truth. And because there's one God, and because we're all the same, everybody is equal. Whether you're male, female, gender, race, religion, we believe everybody is equal. And believing everybody is equal in India is very tough. You know, now it's become much better, but the caste system was very prevalent 500 years ago when Sikhism originated. So these were mind-blowing thoughts. Woman is equal to man. That was mind-blowing, 500 years ago. In fact, I don't know if anybody knows American history. Do you know anybody know when women were given right to vote in America? 1920? Something like that? See, now I'm trying to quiz you guys. But this 500 years ago, saying a woman and man are equal was just mind-blowing. And so this concept itself is something we really hold near and dear to us, that, hey, we believe everybody is equal. And in fact, we don't condemn anybody. You'll never hear a Sikh say, oh, that religion is not the right way, or that's not right, this is right. We're not allowed to do that, because we believe everybody has merit, everyone's equal. Another thing we believe is that everyone should earn an honest living. You should be good human beings, you should earn an honest living, and this is an intrinsic part of our lifestyle. So, we pray, and we do have, prayers throughout the day. But what we believe is one should be living honestly, because a line that I like to repeat, one of our founders said, is truth is high, but higher is a truthful living. Because you can tell the truth, but if your lifestyle isn't reflective of that truth, then that truth is just what you're saying. So we believe that honesty should be integrated into your life, into your routine, into your daily, whatever you do as your job. So earning an honest living. Sharing with others. This is a requirement of our religion, that a minimum of 10% of your earnings should be donated to somebody less fortunate. And that's 10% is just the starting point. And it's not just about money, it's about time. So I come here to educate you guys, so I'm donating my time to kind of spread awareness, to spread diversity or cultural acceptance. So we believe in sharing with others, not just monetary, but anything else that you're good at, you share. And then you remember God throughout the day, which is, again, goes in line with the honest living. We're supposed to remember God at all times, and because there's no time that there is no God. God is always there, everywhere, omnipresent. So we have to keep that in mind. So what we don't believe is, we don't believe in fasting, superstitions, ritualism, caste. I mean, again, we don't condemn anybody that does. So if you believe it, more power to you, and you might be on United Airlines, and that's fine. But with Sikhs, we don't fast, so you'll never see a Sikh who's fasting or who's doing any sort of rituals, or you shouldn't. Other thing we don't believe in is, we don't believe in smoking, drinking, and taking intoxicants. So the lifestyle is very simple, it's very natural, and I'll get into another thing that we believe. Obviously I don't shave my beard. There's a lot of things that are very in tune with nature, to be kind of who you are as you are, sort of. So this guy is maybe a little bit better looking than me and Sonu, and that's why he's on there, and not us. But this is what a typical Sikh looks like. So, actually I don't know this guy. I kind of hate him a little bit, because you're seeing this once. I do this presentation, twice a month. I have to see this guy every time. I'm almost like, I think next time I really, I'm not just saying it, I'm actually talking on the whim. I think I might replace that picture with mine. I'm tired of this. So we believe that, you should stand out. So the Sikhs wear something called 5Ks. And the reason they're called 5Ks is just because the first letter begins with K on these articles of faith. So that's how a Sikh looks. This is one of our Ks. It's called a Kada. You'll see me wearing it. You'll probably see Sonu wearing it. And it's just to remind you, because, again, we're supposed to remember God at all times. Whenever we're doing something, we're doing it with our hands, it's supposed to remind you that you're supposed to be doing a good deed. You're supposed to be doing the right thing, not the wrong thing. So it's a good reminder to have on. Another thing we wear is a small sword, or a kirpan, and this is for protection. So just to give you a little background, because this kind of deserves a little bit of background, is when Sikhism came on board, or when it was founded, it was originated, it was a lot of turbulence in India. So a lot of forced conversions were being done, and so our founders said, you have to stand out, you have to look like this, so you can't hide who you are, and then you have to protect others. So this word, kirpan, is actually, again, two words. Kirpa means blessing, and an means to protect. So it's only supposed to be used to protect others, never in an attack mode, but just a protect mode. So you'll see Sikhs wearing the kirpan. Another thing we wear, which I can't show you, is we wear long underpants. We wear kachara. And there's two reasons for this. Obviously, it's basically long boxer shorts, boxer briefs, which are actually very long, very big. But it gives you self-discipline. It also gives you maneuverability. So when you're, and Sikhs are very martial, because we fought in a lot of wars. You'll see a lot of Sikhs in armies in India, in other parts of the world. So it gives you agility. So when you're fighting if you're fighting in battle, your boxers need to give you maneuverability, and these do. So there's two reasons. I know it's funny. It's okay to laugh. So we also wear a kanga, which is a small comb in our hair, and that's for cleanliness. So, if you have a lot of hair, all those who do know that it tangles up quite often unless you comb it. So we're supposed to keep it clean and keep it tidy. The last thing we have is a kesh. So all of these begin with K, Kara, Kirpan, Kachera, Ganga, and then kesh. Kesh is uncut hair, long hair. So you notice that I have a long beard, and inside my turban, my hair is actually very long too. So we don't cut our hair. Again, in Eastern philosophy, hair is very spiritual. So you'll see, I don't know if you've seen pictures of yogis, and they'll have a top bun. It's part of in line with that, but it's a little more. It also gives you, like, you're living in tune with nature, because if you cut your hair, it's going to grow back, and you're just kind of fighting with nature. So that's what we believe. And then other Sikhs believe it's also a sign of distinction. It gives you, I can't hide who I am when I have this big of a beard, right? Or the long hair. So it gives you ability to stand out. So those are the 5 Ks. If you see a Sikh wearing them, they're doing their job. It's like a uniform. The most distinguishable part of a Sikh is the turban. And so again, I do this presentation in high school, and so if some of this sounds a little elementary, it's supposed to be. So 99% of the people in the United States you see wearing a turban are Sikhs. Regardless of what the media says, because most of the cultures who come here do not have this religious requirement, they don't want to be seen in a turban here, especially when you stick out so much. So we do it because we're obligated to do it. And the reason we're obligated to do it is we're not supposed to hide who we are. We're supposed to stand out. And in India, actually, the turban is a sign of respect. It's a sign of royalty. If I see somebody with a turban, I can ask for help. I can get that person to help me. Unfortunately here, because of the events that have transpired, it's not. But it's okay. We're trying to make awareness, and eventually it will be. But you can always go to a Sikh for help. They're obligated, because they stand out, just like a police officer, they're obligated to help you. They're obligated to serve you, protect you in whatever manner you need. So in India, this is quite often, it happens where if you have to trust somebody, they'll trust a guy with a turban more than one who doesn't, because we're obligated to do those things. So I think I have a good report. Sonu told me nobody has tried to forcefully remove his turban, so I thank you for that. But again, this happens in high schools and where people don't know, and so we put it in the presentation just for that reason. So I'm going to show you, if I can have, Sonu, if you can. A lot of times people want to know what a turban looks like and when it's not wrapped. So this is actually my turban, my red turban. So this is how long it actually is before we wrap it. And it's actually bigger. So the difference between a turban and a hat is a turban has to be wrapped on, and it takes about 5 to 10 minutes to wrap. A hat obviously can be taken off and on at any time. And so when we're asked sometimes at the airports to remove our hat, we can't just do that. So we've been working with the TSA, some of our community leaders, to create policies that allow us to get a mirror or something that we can tie the turban back on if it needs to be taken off. And the U.S. has been, again, the TSA has been very accommodating of this. So we really appreciate that. I'm going to show you a turban tying demo, a video, so you can stop hearing me talk for a little while too. And it'll start hopefully after I hit this button.
So one of the first parts of the turban is to get the piece of cloth that wraps in at the back at the very end. Now, the way that most Sikhs tend to do that is to take a small piece of the cloth and tuck it into their mouth, which will then, at the very end, at the culmination of tying the turban, wrap into the back to keep it all tight and solid at the back. The first, what we call lar, which is the first fold of the Sikh turban, that you can see comes from the back and goes from a high up position from around about what we'd say 11 o'clock, and it comes right down, right past the eyebrow and down past the lower end of the person's left ear. After the second or third fold has come across, what you notice with Gurbaj tying this now is that a point starts to emerge in the center of just above the person's forehead. The fold is the one that, as I said, can save the turban, if you like. It's also the one that gives it its peak and gives it to the part that was tucked into his mouth. And what he's doing is actually pulling that out, and that actually stretches out the fold that he had originally put over his head. and with the final part of the turban at the very back. He just pulls it out so that he's got all of it nice and neat and tidy. Brings it out, makes sure that it's neat and that there's no extra bits of the turban folding outwards. Instead, they fold inwards, and tucks it right into the back of the turban.
Okay, I wanted Sonu to do that live, but he refused. So we had to use the video. Here's the different types of turbans you may see, in the TV or you may see around. This side on the, I guess your left, are the Sikh turbans. Sonu and I wear the most popular style because we're so popular, which is called the Nok turban. So that's the turban you see a lot of. But there's also different styles. You'll see a rounder and smaller turbans, and they come in all sizes. What you may also notice is the kid on the bottom right of that picture is wearing a very small turban called a patka. And that's usually also what we wear underneath our turban or when we're playing sports. It's a nice and easy thing to wear. On the other side, you may see some non-Sikh turbans, and we're not going to quiz you afterwards. You don't have to be a turban expert, but a lot of times you can tell that there are different turban styles just from the way they look. So I'm showing you the most popular Sikh turbans, and like I said, 99% of the time, the person you meet with a turban is probably going to be a Sikh. So if you want to impress somebody, go up to a stranger and say, "Hey, I know you're a Sikh." Makes his day, probably. So I'll get a little bit more in depth into the religion. So the Sikhism was founded by 10 gurus. And I know when I say guru in America, people think, oh, that means a whiz, or that means a teacher, or that guy's a guru at Java, or that guy's a guru at, whatever. But for us, it's a very deep meaning. And in fact, that word itself is very deep. It's almost like a prophet for us. It actually is a prophet for us. So when I say guru, I'm talking about the 10 prophets who founded our religion. In fact, the word guru is 2 parts. I love doing these words with 2 parts. Gu means darkness, and Ru means light. So it's somebody who takes you from darkness to light in a spiritual context, from ignorance to enlightenment. So our gurus there were 10 of them, who founded this faith, we begin their names from Guru Nanak, Guru, and then we say their name. So there's somebody who've taken us from darkness to light. What was their mission? What did they want to accomplish, creating this new religion? They just wanted to spread love. They just wanted to spread equality and humanity, and they wanted to uphold some of the injustice. They wanted to uphold justice against some of the ignorance that was going on at that time. So that was their mission. And then they wrote, their teachings down in something we called Gurbani, which is Guru's word. And that is compiled into the last Guru, which is our spiritual guide. It's a holy scripture we call the Guru Granth Sahib, which is the writings of all the 10 gurus are combined into that. It's about 1,400 pages, and it's the basic teachings of how to be a good human being, how to do good, how to live your life in a fulfilling manner. So there's no rocket science in there. It's very simple. Teaches about love. And it's done in a poetic way, so it's actually done in poetry verses. So whenever you go to a Sikh place of worship, which I'm going to show you next, a gurdwara, you see them singing these hymns. You see them singing the Gurbani. So it's done in a fashion of singing. We believe when you sing, we're all like kids. We like this, and you'll probably hear the kids sing soon. You keep it. It keeps in your mind better. It goes in your heart easier because it's done to a melodious tune. So Gurdwara is a Sikh place of worship, and the good thing about Gurdwara is all are welcome. Even non-Sikhs, everybody can come in, everybody can partake in any sort of prayer or whatever you want to do. And you'll see the center of the Gurdwara, there will be this, we call it palki, and then inside the palki will be here is the Guru Granth Sahib, the holy book, which is always decked out in the nicest, cloth, because we believe it is the living Guru. We treat it as a actual living entity. We respect it as such. So the only thing you have to do is take your shoes off, cover your head, and if you're willing to do that, you're welcome at the Gurdwara. Another interesting fact about Gurdwara is you can always go there for food. So we have something called community kitchen, which everybody has to, again, in line of our teachings of equality. And it's not so true here. You have to sit on the floor and eat with everybody else. But when I went back to India, I was sitting with homeless beggars. And so you really get a sense of equality when you sit on the floor and eat the same food as somebody who you would probably never encounter in real life. So that teaching of langar or community kitchen is very prevalent practice. It's something we hold, again, something we cherish. So if you go to any gurdwara, if you're hungry, you can ask for food, you always get it. So maybe just go for the Indian food. Sundays is usually just like, because we're here in the West, we use Sundays as our worship day too. But again, we don't believe it's because it's Sunday, it's just because it's convenient for us being in the West. So, we're everywhere. I hate this slide. So this slide is just trying to, again, demystify, hey, we're here, we're doing stuff like artist and actor and basketball player. I told you Sikhs are part of the U.S. Army. You never see that in the media for some reason. And then we have some very famous scientists. Actually, that's Dr. Kaplani, who's the father of fiber optics. I've never met him. He's probably way above my pay scale to meet. But wonderful man, I've heard. This guy, Waris Ahluwalia, you may have seen him in some of the Gap ads recently, the Make Love ads. I'll show you that next slide. So we have some Sikhs who have actually come into the American spotlight, which we're really proud of, because any positive image for a turban and beard is a good thing for us. So we're very happy when we see this. So like I said, Waris Ahluwalia, this is an ad that's actually being featured in Gap currently. So it's nice for us to get, to demystify, de-villainize this appearance. And so when this happens, we're just ecstatic. Another one is Gurpreet Singh Sareen. He was on American Idol last season. He was part of the top 20. I don't know if you saw him there or not. He's a very nice, not little kid. He's a nice young man. We've seen him grow up in our communities. Actually, he lives in Potomac. We'll show you a clip of him on American Idol now.
Will our next group, B-Side, be able to remember their lyrics?
We're gonna kill it. We'll do good. I'm gonna stay positive.
Yeah, I think we'll do really well.
Yeah, I know it's hard to remember people we used to be. It's even harder to picture you're not here next to me. You say it's hard to believe it, but is it possible to never think that I'm dead now? Way ba da 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 now. And now I see the lights. Go and turn down the lights.
He was actually nice enough to oblige to our request. We wanted him to come here because he's our celebrity. But we wanted him to come here. He didn't have time to come here, but he did tape a video message for all of you.
Hello everyone, my name is Gurpreet Singh Sareen, and I'm very fortunate to speak with my friends at the Frederick Memorial Hospital. I wanted to share a couple of my thoughts about the Sikh religion that I also hope will resonate with the hospital. And one of those thoughts is Sarbatapala. In the Sikh religion, we believe in the good for all, the good for everyone. And I know that's very important when it comes to hospital as well, regardless of how old you are, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of your gender, your background, you are there to help everyone. And we believe that, everyone should be treated as equals and everyone should be loved. And that's definitely a concept that truly resonates with me. Another concept is the idea of Chardi Kala, which means perpetual optimism, always being in high spirits, always keeping your head up regardless of any difficulty that you face. And I feel that you would understand that concept really well, the idea of always being strong and always hoping for the best in life. And I think it's a very beautiful concept. And once again, I'm very thankful to get the chance to speak with you. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it out in person, but I hope to come in contact with you and to visit you soon. Please keep in touch. I am also adding a performance to this message. I hope you enjoyed the performance, and yes, please let me know your thoughts. You can message me at gurpreetsareenmusic@gmail.com, or also on Facebook, facebook.com/gurpreetsareen. Looking forward to hearing back from you, and hopefully I get a chance to meet you soon. Take care and happy holidays.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. Lights fill the streets, spreading so much cheer. I should be playing in the winter snow, but I'ma be under the mistletoe. I don't wanna miss out on the holiday, but I can't stop staring at your face. I should be playing in the winter snow, but I'ma be under the mistletoe with you, shawty with you, you, shawty with you, you under the mistletoe. Everyone's gathering around the fire, chestnuts roasting like a hot July. I should be chilling with my folks, I know, but I'ma be under the mistletoe. Word on the street, Santa's coming tonight. Reindeers flying through the sky so high. I should be making a list, I know, but I'ma be under the mistletoe with you, shawty with you, you, shawty with you, you under the mistletoe, you, shawty with you, you, shawty with you, you under the mistletoe.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll let him know that you guys gave such a nice applause at the end. There's another thing that you might see that's actually famous from Punjab, which is an Indian dance called Bhangra. And it's a very lively dance. It's actually been remixed in some hip-hop songs, and you may recognize it, but it's something you may come across. I thought it would be a nice way to end this on a lively note. A video demonstration of Bhangra, which was actually featured on America's Got Talent a couple of years ago. So I'll end with that, and after that, I will be happy to answer any questions if you have any. I've heard them all, so don't be shy. I've been to high school, so you know what kind of questions I get. So after the performance, if we have time, maybe a few more minutes, I can answer some questions.
Bhangra Empire. Tell me about the Bhangra Empire. We perform an Indian cultural dance. All right, well, good luck.
America's Got Talent, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. For more, visit NBC.com/America's Got Talent.
I gave him a free promo. Okay, if anybody has questions that they're brave enough to ask me, go ahead. Oh, wow, I didn't have to ask twice. Go ahead, anybody who raised their hand. Oh. So yes, so actually the question is, do Sikhs marry non-Sikhs? And the answer is yes, they do actually. So we've had several members of our community marry, outside of the religion. Again, it's a very progressive religion, so it's never, I guess it's not a stigma associated with it. We understand, like we said, everybody is equal, everybody has their own paths, and as long as the two respect each other, we're all open to that. So there have been a few, not as many as I would think, but I'm sure my children or as we get more integrated into the American system or culture, it'll become more prevalent, yes. Yes, in the back. Okay, so she's asking if it's a choice to leave the beard down or tie it. I think it's all personal preference. So before 9/11, I actually used to tie my beard. And then an incident that happened to me 9/12, which was the next day, I was standing at Old Town Gaithersburg train station, and somebody stopped and threw their coffee at me and said, go back to Iran or go back to Afghanistan, I forgot what. And I went to work, and they said, man, you look exactly like that guy on TV, except your beard is short. And I was like, no, actually my beard is long. So the next day I started coming out with my beard out. Again, this is a personal preference. Obviously, Dr. Wadwa, actually size does matter, and his is smaller than mine. I just wanted to throw that in there. I think there was a question in the front. No, just matching with our clothes. There's no real significance. I think it's preference, all preference. I'm going to look on this side. I'm not ignoring you. I just don't want to, yes.
So two things. One, am I correct that Little Orphan Annie, was he a Sikh Punjab in Little Orphan Annie?
Yes. So the question is, in Little Orphan Annie, was there a Sikh? And I do remember seeing that movie. And yes, I was excited to see somebody with a turban in that movie.
That was a while ago, so I thought
yes.
That was an interesting choice. And then also, too, women. We didn't really discuss women in there, so is there special, garb or anything like that for women who are Sikh?
Okay. So the question is, I'm just repeating the question so everybody can hear, is there a special thing that women have to wear, because we didn't discuss what women wear on their head. And the answer is, women in our religion are actually treated a little better than men, because they actually have a choice. They don't have to wear a turban if they don't want to. A lot of them choose to wear a turban, and they do. So you might have saw that picture with the woman with the circular turban on. But it's a choice, and it's up to them. They do have to cover their head when they come to the place of worship. A lot of them do that with a scarf. But there are some women in our community that wear turban, because just on a quality standpoint, saying, if a man is wearing one, then I'm going to wear one. And they're welcome to do so. In fact, they're encouraged to do so, but they're not required to do so.
Vegetarianism, is that a part of it?
No, so there's not a requirement to be vegetarian in Sikhism. But a lot of Sikhs, because they come from India where a lot of vegetarians, they choose to be. And so it's not looked down upon in any way. I had a question here. Yes? So the question is, do your ears have to be enclosed in the turban, as one of the pictures where the ears were exposed? It's not really a requirement, but when I was younger, I had ears that stuck out. So that's the reason I started covering. And now my ears don't stick out anymore. So, but it's a preference. Again, it's a preference. Yes. I think I'm going to take only two more, because I see the kids and I don't want to make them wait. Yes. Yes.
First, as protectors, is exercise or is that part of what is your daily routine?
Oh.
And the second question is, we're very fond of Dr. Wadwa here. I'd love to hear a personal funny story about it.
Man, you're going to make me think. That's the hardest question. Okay, so the first question was, as protectors, I thought you were making a fat joke on me a little bit, but he said, as protectors, are you required to be in shape? Yes. In fact, we're required to be in shape. And even I have the kirpan on, so we know we're carrying a weapon, and we're actually supposed to be trained. So you're not supposed to just wear the kirpan. You're supposed to, there's a Sikh martial arts that you actually train yourself in self-defense and protection of others before you are given. We don't just hand these to kids. It's actually, respected. It's just like any martial art. You should be mentally and physically able before you're given that kind of responsibility. So yes. The other question is story of Sonu. The thing. Yeah, right. So you guys might think Sonu's a nice guy, right? But I'll tell you, I don't think he's as nice as he seems, because we went in high school together, and for me, seeing another Sikh in high school, because we were the only guys who wore turbans, and you think you were like 2 years older than me, or 1 year, something like that. So I would try to say hi to him, and he would never talk to me. I guess because he was at the higher level or senior, or didn't want the coolness factor to go away. So that's his real personal side, He's just giving you guys the nice side, just so you know.